having the help of this prestigious group only helps us get more penetration and perhaps quicker. The government opportunity is significant, but it does take time. But we're patient. We'll continue to move forward on that. And I would anticipate we'll start seeing revenues from government opportunities sometime in the first calendar quarter of next year, which will continue the growth that we're going to try and achieve in the next 2 quarters, September and December.
Welcome back to another online business briefing brought to you by SmallCapVoice.com. I'm your host, Stuart Smith, and we're lucky enough today to be joined once again by Brian Bonar. He is the CEO of Dalrada Financial Corporation. The company's traded on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol DFCO. And we've had Brian on several times. And Brian, before we get into this interview, it was just bestowed upon you CEO of the Year by the San Diego Business Journal. Congratulations. Any comment on that for the listeners and the viewers before we get started?
Well, the award is not just for me. The award is for the Dalrada team, and I'm just privileged enough to go and accept it. So they've done a great job. I'm proud to be part of that team, and just going to keep on knocking them down.
Outstanding. Well, thanks for that, Brian. And I know we were supposed to speak with you yesterday while you were in the airport in New York City, and I appreciate your patience. We had a big outage here in the state of Texas, and we weren't able to do that. So I want to talk to you, though, about that trip to New York City because it was important. And viewers and listeners, if you follow along on the social media, you see the company has been posting about a New York City Local Law 97 and what it means for the opportunities for companies like Dalrada. Brian, tell us a little bit about the trip to New York City.
Well, it's exactly for the reason you mentioned. The Local Law 97 imposes significant fines for the installation and continued use of gas boilers. And just as a note, in New York metro area, just the metro area, not New York State, the metro area uses approximately 60,000 gas boiler installations a year. They've all got to be converted away from gas to an alternative solution, mainly electricity. Our heat pump is the only heat pump that I'm aware of that does simultaneous heating and cooling, and therefore it's an ideal target for us to go there and concentrate on the demand coming out of New York. I mean, if we only get 1% of that 60,000 gas boilers, it represents approximately $60 million in revenue for Dalrada over the next 18 months. And I would hope we'd get at least 1%. Stuart, I also want to mention that while I was in New York, we were negotiating what I hope to be able to announce in about a month, a strong relationship that would allow us to have a strategic partner based in the New York metropolis area to penetrate that market and give us full support. The opportunities there are quite significant, and I hope to be able to outline that detail. It's a 3-phased approach that will cover phase 1 being the New York metro area. Phase 2 and 3 will be other areas on the eastern seaboard, and each of these areas and each of these phases will yield significant sales opportunities for us, not just in the industrial heat pump, but also in the home heat pump market.
Well, again, exciting times for Dalrada Financial Corporation. Another great reason to keep an eye on that press wire. And I'm sure the company will keep us abreast of all the updates in that regard. Speaking of revenue and speaking of the drivers behind it, we recently did an interview with your CFO, that's Kyle McCollum, regarding the third quarter financial filings. And he gave us a great background on the drivers. He gave us a great background on the different revenue streams. And, you know, from the CEO standpoint, though, just an overall temperature, obviously you saw a nice jump in the numbers on the revenue side, but even more importantly to myself, a former accountant, was seeing the company make great strides in lowering liabilities and cleaning up its balance sheets. Any comments you want to say on the third quarter numbers?
Only to say we're on plan. I've said before that our internal goal was to return to profitability by the end of this calendar year. We're on plan to do that, if not a little ahead. The third quarter was a good indication that the things that we have done are beginning to take effect. most of the benefits of the things we actually did during that third quarter will not show up until the fourth quarter results, because there's a lot of termination fees and expenses included in that. So I'm hopeful that the fourth quarter, while it won't be reported individually, it will reflect in our year-end numbers that should be announced as quickly as we can get them announced. So I'm very, very hopeful. We're on target. We're doing the right things. Business is booming. We'll continue to make the same growth as we made in the prior quarters. So I'm very optimistic.
Well, very good. Let's talk a little bit about that news that hits the press wire under that ticker symbol DFCO. July 1st was the dateline. Your company was added to the prestigious Minority Business Roundtable. And specifically within that press release, something that jumped out at me is it provides strategic opportunities within state and federal governments. Now, I don't know that everybody can make that leap logically of what one has to do with the other. So let's hear it from you as the CEO. What does this mean for your company to be part of this prestigious roundtable?
Well, it gives us a strong inroads to penetrating that government opportunity, which is significant. As prior disclosed, we are working with the GSA with our heat pump to get it fully approved under a GSA approval. Having the help of this prestigious group only helps us get more penetration and perhaps quicker. The government opportunity is significant, but it does take time. But we're patient. We'll continue to move forward on that. And I would anticipate we'll start seeing revenues from government opportunities sometime in the first calendar quarter of next year, which will continue to the growth that we're going to try and achieve in the next 2 quarters, September and December.
Outstanding. Well, that is another thing to keep an eye on with this company. And you can do so on social media. You can do so the old school way, just by the press releases, or you can reach out to the company directly via LinkedIn, X, Facebook, socialize with this company, get to know this company. We're speaking once again with Brian Bonar. He is the CEO of Dalrada Financial Corporation. And not only that, he's the CEO of the year for all of San Diego County, and that's up to the San Diego Business Journal to decide that. Again, Brian, thanks for making time for us. Any closing thoughts or comments? I know you're just coming back from New York City. It's an exciting time for your company here, though we are in the dog days of summer. A lot of companies have kind of turtled up, if you will. Your company is putting out news. You're on the road. You're getting these honors. You're joining this minority roundtable. It seems like, and we've pointed this out about you in the past, Brian, you're a man that doesn't sleep very much, is how it appears to me.
It seems to be the older I get, the less sleep I need, which is really great. But it's not just about New York. Things are beginning to happen, and I'm hopeful in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some good press for good, solid opportunities coming out of Europe, namely Spain and France, which we see some significant opportunities. We're working for a long time with a range of healthcare, home care facilities in Europe. We're hopeful to get the first contract signed for that. And that's the start of approximately 80 home healthcare facilities in Spain that we will be going through. Each facility probably generates between $250,000 and $300,000 in sales. So you can do the multiple yourself. And probably I can't say much more than that, but I'm very, very optimistic.
And good reason to be that. Well, Brian, as always, it's an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for making time for us here at Small Cap Voice once again.
No problem. Thanks for the time.
All right, for Brian Bonar, this is Stuart Smith saying make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave comments below, and we will get those questions in front of our CEO here, Mr. Brian Bonar of Dalrada Financial Corporation. Thank you.